if someone's expert, that's what Nitai Shran does in Croatian. He sits over on his mobile, translate into Croatian. He's pretty expert into that. Lila or somebody maybe. Not here. Let's sing a song.
Hindi. You have a very good English.
Sing a song.
Hindi.
I don't know what we're talking about.
I speak about translation in French for the class.
Yeah, but that's to be done in the background online.
Yeah.
It takes a bit of knowledge how to do that.
They started to do it. Regularly.
Yeah.
They know the trick already.
Somebody knows. Somebody knows, please do it. Listen to song.
But in which telephone we're supposed to do that?
I asked for some books, so I don't know if they're coming or not.
What we saw,
Bring the song.
Maybe we'll sing Goranga or anything. Let's say Chaitanya Charitamrita. Very nice to hear about Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Which song?
Lala Samai Prarthana. Lala Samai Prarthana. In the beginning you'll see Lala Samai L. Lala. L-A-L-A. If you look in the back.
70.
Pardon?
70.
70. Maybe 70.
Or if it's not 70, it's around 70 because every book
I'm over 70.
Okay.
Yeah.
70. Right?
We're over 70, right?
Yeah.
The song is over 70
It's
also.
page 74 in this book.
74, getting older very quickly.
Started
long.
in the 70s.
7 year away.
Cette chanson, je l'appelle Grand-mère de
Lala Samai Prarthana. Guranga Polite Habe Pulaka Shahira Hari Hari Bolite Nahe Jane Bhabe
Guranga Purite Hare Pulaka Shahira Hari Hari Bolite Nahe Jane Bhabe.
First line, what we just sung, is like a chorus. So going back to it actually. Arakabini Tai Chande Karanaibe Kamshara Vasanama Kabe Tuchabe Hari Hari Bolite Yane Bhavete
Guranga Purite Hare Pulaka Shahira Hari Hari
Jai. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj ki
Jai.
Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Going Thai ki
Jai.
Varam ki
Jai.
Govardhan ki
Jai.
ki
Jai.
Lakshmana Shingadev ki
Jai.
Shri Radha Govinda Madhava ki
Jai.
Oh Premade
Haribol.
Glorious to the assembled there.
Hare Krishna.
Oh, glorious to Sri Guru Granthal Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravatta Chakni You may be pleased to know that in a few days the French translation of the songbook will arrive. 500 copies. So, you may already have it, I don't know. Coming along with the Krishna willing, with the Srimad Bhagavatam, which are due to arrive. Yeah, they're due to arrive. Just now coming, as they say. And 720 sets of Srimad Bhagavatam, more or less, are pray for the mercy of the Lord, but we're expecting them to arrive next week. It's a great time with the Kartik month beginning, month of Damodar, to pass on the message of Srimad Bhagavatam. Extra special dividends, returns. Anytime is good. So today we're going to read from Chaitanya Charitamrita, and I'm glad to see we have the French version here. You won't understand a word I'm trying to say if you read from here. If there is an English version, it would probably be more, what do you call that? Suitable is the word, I think, in terms of either to hear or to understand. Audible, intelligible, something like that. Yeah. Anyway, we can chant the Sanskrit verses. Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya We're still waiting for the English version.
One more time.
Just arrived.
Just now coming. Here it comes. Is it on the board?
Yes.
Okay, we can read it. Acharya mang vijaniyam
Acharya Mam Vijaniyam
navamanyeta kahichit
Navamanyeta Kahichit
namacha bodhaya suyeta
Namaja Buddhya Suyeta
namacha buddhya suyeta
Namaja Buddhya Suyeta
sarvadeva mayo guru.
Sarvadeva Mayo Guru.
Was that pronunciation okay?
Yes.
Yeah. Pretty good, huh? I'm reading French very well here. Good? Was it okay? We'll carry on. Try again. Acharya mam vijaniyam
Acharya Mam Vijaniyam
navamanyeta kahichit
Navamanyeta Kahichit
namacha buddhya suyeta
Namaja Buddhya Suyeta
sarvadeva mayo guru.
Sarvadeva Mayo Guru.
Acharya mam vijaniyam
Acharya Mam Vijaniyam
navamanyeta kahichit
Navamanyeta Kahichit
namacha buddhya suyeta
Namaja Buddhya Suyeta
sarvadeva mayo guru.
Sarvadeva Mayo Guru.
Acharya mam vijaniyam
Acharya Mam Vijaniyam
navamanyeta kahichit
Navamanyeta Kahichit
namacha buddhya suyeta
Namaja Buddhya Suyeta
sarvadeva mayo guru.
Sarvadeva Mayo Guru.
Acharya mam vijaniyam Karicit,
Namanyeta Karicit,
Amartya Puja Suyeta,
Namartya Puja Suyeta,
Deva Maya Guru,
Sarvadeva Maya Guru,
Acharya Mavijaniya,
Acharya Mandijaniya,
Navamanyeta Karicit,
Navamanyeta Karicit,
Namatya Buddha Suyeta,
Namartya Puja Suyeta,
Sarvadeva Mayo Guru,
Sarvadeva Maya Guru,
Achayavam Vijaniyam.
Acharyamam Vijaniyam,
Navamanyeta Karichit.
Navamanyeta Karicit,
Namatya Buddhya Suyeta.
Namatya Puja Suyeta,
Sarvadeva Mayo Guru.
Sarvadeva Maya Guru, Acharyamam Vijaniyam, Navamanyeta Karicit, Namartya Puja Suyeta, Sarvadeva Maya Guru.
Mataji.
Acharyamam Vijaniyam, Navamanyeta Karicit, Namatya Puja Suyeta, Sarvadeva Maya Guru. Acharyamam Vijaniyam, Navamanyeta Karicit, Namartya Puja Suyeta, Sarvadeva Maya Guru.
So, word for word, it's a quite significant purport. So, please bear with us. Acharyam,
Acharyam,
the spiritual master,
the spiritual master,
Mam,
Mam,
myself,
myself,
Vijaniyat,
Vijaniyat,
one should know,
one should know,
Na avamanyeta,
Navamanyeta,
one should never disrespect,
one should never disrespect,
Karichit,
Karicit,
at any time,
at any time,
Na,
Na,
never,
never,
Marchabudya,
Marchabudya,
with the idea
with the idea
of his being
of his being
an ordinary man,
an ordinary man,
Asuyeta,
Asuyeta,
one should be envious,
one should be envious,
Sarvadeva,
Sarvadeva,
of all the demigods,
of all the demigods,
Mayaha,
Maya,
representative,
representative,
the spiritual master.
the spiritual master.
What is your good name?
Prasanna.
Prasad?
Prasanna.
Huh?
Prasanna.
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 Prasanna. Where are you from, Prasanna Prabhu?
I'm coming from Ireland.
Ireland.
Yeah.
Where in Ireland?
In Letterkenny.
Where?
Letterkenny. It's north of.
Letterkenny.
Oh, at the Kenny.
Near Derry.
Huh?
Near Derry.
Near Derry, yeah? North, up the north there. Yeah, we can't say Londonderry, we can say Derry. So you're working there?
Yes, yes,
And
ma'am.
what are you doing here? We called the wrong bus.
We got to know about the place through a devotee. So for the weekend we came, and
Fantastic.
fortunately we had the visa as well. So we
You
thought,
can get a cheap flight from Dublin to...
yes, Ryan.
Good. Well, nice to see. And your wife is with you? Are you together? I don't know.
Yeah.
You're also living in, what's it called? Letterkenny?
Letterkenny.
Marvelous. Well, welcome to France. We thought maybe you were living in France. Good. I just came from Northern Ireland. I was just there.
Yeah, we saw the messages. The temple you were at, Maharaj, it is too far away for us to
There's
go
only
by
2
bus.
temples and I was in both of them. So I don't know
Yeah.
which temple was close, I don't know.
Yeah, the Dublin one
It's
is
closer than New Mayapur.
it seems like that.
I was in Innisrath for about 2 or 3 days, then Belfast for 2 or 3 days.
Ainishrath is closer to us.
Huh?
Ainishrath is closer to.
Innisrath is
Yeah.
close to you, as long as you can swim. No, the barge was working, we're lucky. It was working quite nicely. Lovely, good weather too. Purport. Did I read the verse? Verse. One should know the Acharya as myself and never disrespect him in any way. One should not envy him, thinking him an ordinary man, for he is the representative of all the demigods. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. This is a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. It's in the 11th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 17, text number 27, which is spoken as part of the Uddhava Gita. Lord Krishna speaking to Uddhava regarding the 4 social and spiritual orders of society. He was specifically, that means Krishna was specifically instructing how a brahmachari should behave under the care of a spiritual master. A spiritual master is not an enjoyer of facilities offered by his disciples. He is like a parent. Without the attentive service of his parents, a child cannot grow to manhood. Similarly, without the care of the spiritual master, one cannot rise to the plane of transcendental service. The spiritual master is also called Acharya, or a transcendental professor of spiritual science. Interesting use of words. Professor of spiritual science. We have professors of mundane science who are supposed to be experts, I suppose. Is that right? Would it be? Experts in their field? Mm-hmm. More than others. They're able to profess their subject matter, I guess. Professors. So, spiritual master Acharya is a professor in the spiritual science. Prabhupada would use the word science. But the real science is the spiritual science. The material science is reflection, but it's not the real science. It's a relative science only. It's related to the real science. Material science is related, but it's not actually absolute. It's relative only. The Manu Samhita, these are law books. Manu Samhita is like the law books for mankind. Is called, explains rather, the duties of an Acharya, describing that a bona fide spiritual master accepts charge of disciples, teaches them the Vedic knowledge with all of its intricacies, and gives them their second birth. Usually second birth refers to Brahminical initiation. In the Vedic culture, the second birth is Upanayana, which means when a child. These verses are specifically, in Vedic terminology, geared or directed towards tradition. When we talk of brahmachari life, we mean a young boy, maybe 7 years old, 8 years old, receives Upanayana, which is second birth. It's one sometimes described like that. They receive thread and at least the first Gayatri mantra, where they can perform Brahminical activities. That's only generally given at that age, particularly to the children of Brahmins. In Kali Yuga, this system, of course, is not, let's say, being maintained in its proper sense, because you don't find qualified Brahmins, practically speaking, to facilitate, or the children themselves, by giving them upanayana and training them in the Gurukul. The idea is that they will awaken Brahminical tendencies. Not that they're automatically Brahmins, but they become given the chance to develop those natural qualities. They're lucky born in, they may be already there inherent, but it's not let's say, confirmed just because one happens to be born in a Brahminical family, or any family come to that. So the Upanayana ceremony will be given to the children of Brahmins. Kshatriyas also at a different age, I believe. They receive their, initiation, second birth. The third birth, there's a third birth in Vedic, or at least in Pancharaktika Vidi. There's a third birth, which is the birth of when one meets or it connects with the pure line, the Sat Acharya, one who gives one that transcendental connection. The connection here also can be seen to be an Acharya, is a teacher by example, teaches how to understand the Vedas and apply them according to one's position in the Varna and Ashram, the ancient society, organization, Daivi, Varna, Ashram, the four divisions of in terms of economics and society, or status in society, were very carefully upheld, and particularly the Brahminical culture was considered to be imperative, necessary, otherwise society is headless, basically. Headless. You've heard of the headless chicken? They run around, don't know where they're going. The head, sometimes I've heard that that's what happens when chicken unfortunately has its head severed. Their body continues to run for some time. I don't know if it's always true, but I've heard that case. So society without Brahminical culture is not human society. Something else. Human society is based upon Brahminical head, Brahminical guidance, Brahminical culture. Everyone gains from that. So it's a very important aspect that the children would be trained in the Gurukul, Brahminical children. Kshatriyas also, up to a point in their particular line of responsibility, would also be in the Gurukul. Majority of people would never go to Gurukul. They would never go to school. There's no need. A waste of time for majority of people. Education is only to educate the leaders how to serve society, just like the verse describes how the spiritual master is like a father to the disciples. Well, the Brahmins are like fathers to society, the sannyasis are like fathers to society. They're not, as it indicates here, without any personal gain. It's not like the spiritual master is eyeing people up. How much money have you got? How much can you give me? Not at all. Not total disqualification, but rather just the Brahmins are neutral. Their only business is to disseminate relevant knowledge which is relevant to the receiver, or to the person they're, guiding, teaching, whatever. Not the same for everyone. Different orders of life will take the same instruction differently and maybe inappropriately misuse it. So knowledge was given by the Brahmins according to the eligibility of the candidate or the hearer. So they would give knowledge which was relevant for the spiritual progress as well as the material stability of the hearers. So most people, 90% or more, are Shudra, which means basically just laborers. They're working in offices and factories and driving cars around and things like that, digging the farm, digging the land. Sudra activity, but it doesn't matter because if that's one's nature, one should engage like that. but one will be given a chance for spiritual elevation. After all, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has emphasized that Naham Vipra Nacharana Tirna Vivaishona Shudra. There were not any of these designations, not a Brahmin, not a Kshatriya, not a Vaishya, or a Shudra, not a Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, or Sannyasi. These are just descriptions, you could say, of the present condition of the mind and body. They should be in line, which for Kali Yuga is difficult. It's a very mixed bag, you could say jumble. We don't know clearly what we are sometimes in terms of the physical definition, what to speak of the spiritual one. But these orders of life were organized so nicely to give the opportunity even for persons who are not in the Varnashram, the unkijas, the outcasts, or whatever you want to call, a chance to become spiritually elevated. So to speak of an elevated birth like a Shudra. Most people in this age are not even on that level. They're not following any Vedic injunctions. They're not faithful to their masters. They're greedy, and they're getting paid, which is a disaster, etc., etc. The system has just completely broken down. Brahmins are getting paid. Kshatriyas are exploiting the system, or the citizens, right? Vaishyas are greedy cheats in many cases. And the Shudras are just uptight. And society in this way is like verging on chaos, practically speaking, without the head to guide. So the Manasamhita is the Shastric guide, sometimes said like to be like the mother, and the spiritual master is like the Brahmins are like the father, to protect the citizens. But such protection is not there in Kali Yuga. Very little. For the vast majority of persons, there's none of this type of protection. They may have their police force, or their government, or their army, with doctors and so on, but they cannot save anyone in reality. The Vedic society was meant to save the soul, not just to save the body. That maybe have to be dealt with, no doubt. But the primary objective is to save the soul. Save the soul from what? Save the soul from birth and death. Save the soul from the endless cycle of samsara. So you could say the blazing fire of material existence. Ignorance, fear, all kinds of other factors involved. That's you could say, one purpose, to save the living entity from this darkness of ignorance which we are presently in. It's the Acharya's business, Om Jnana Timaranda Syag and Anjana Shalakaya, to open their eyes which were blinded by the darkness of ignorance with the torchlight of knowledge. So the Acharyas, the Shastras, they give knowledge which is relevant to help us to wake up. Jeev Jago, Jeev Jago, Gaura Chandra Bole, Kota Nidra Jayo Mail, Pishatira Kole. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has brought this message. He's our real friend. He's brought this message of devotional service, particularly the chanting of the holy name. And thus he's our real friend. So he's calling, like you know that was a song, describing how Lord Chaitanya is calling, wake up, jivas! Wake up, sleeping souls! You've been sleeping in the lap of the witch called Maya. You may be very comfortable for some time in that lap, but it's not a very secure place. Dangerous place. Sleeping in the lap of the witch. It describes a witch. Why is Maya called a witch?
Because she can illusion us.
Yes, just like a witch may bewilder us. I don't know if there are many witches around here anymore. Are they still around here? I'm told this is one of the witch I don't know about here exactly, but around here, many witches were there apparently.
No, Berry.
Huh?
Berry. It's
Really?
famous by witch. The Middle Age.
That's good.
Lucy
Luce Lamal, Lucifer. Lucifer the Mal. Huh? Many different funny names of villages indicative of their history. So the lap of Maya. Maya bewildered us. That's her business. Huh? Lord Chaitanya and his associates, the acharyas and the shastras, are there to try to help deliver us. Now, naturally, a person who doesn't want to be delivered may have a different impression of this. And they may react against it. Huh? We see that many times. The public react against any endeavor to deliver the living entities from illusion. They don't want it. I mean, what would happen if everyone was Krishna conscious? What would happen? Be a disaster, wouldn't it? What would happen? What would you do if everyone was Krishna conscious? I mean, where are you going to sell your mobile phones and all the other important items? What are you going to do with them all? What will happen to the modern society? Somebody said that to Prabhupada, right? What will happen to the world if everyone became like you? What did Prabhupada say? Pardon?
I would be happy.
Well, they'll be happy. That's for sure. Well, as long as we're happy. If it's comparison with a genuine devotee who is naturally happy. Prabhupada said,
Rain.
huh? Oh, there may be rain on a different instance. Yes, it may rain.
Rain means
It'll rain
speaking.
non-stop. Never
Another-
stop.
Another batch of conditioned souls will be sent down.
That's another thing, isn't it? Lord Chaitanya said that, huh? When, who was it, Vasudev Datta?
Yes.
Haridas Thakur also?
Vasudeva.
Yeah, Vasudev Datta.
Vasudeva. Yes.
Don't worry, even if the whole universe is delivered, nobody will notice anything happened. It's the soul that's delivered, not the body. You sometimes think the body, but it's not. The Lord said, "I'll fill the universe up again with the same number of living entities. They were in dormant state of consciousness. So fill the universe up." Nothing. You can't see it happening. What did he say? What did Prabhupada say? Don't worry, he said. Don't worry, that won't happen. Don't get too worried, it won't happen. So you can take that both ways. You shouldn't be over worried if not everybody is becoming a pure. We should endeavor to become a pure devotee ourselves first. We sometimes talk a lot about, pioneering, which is part of becoming a pure devotee, but the essence is really that the devotee, we have to ourselves take this on board as our responsibility to assist Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the Acharyas in this mission to help deliver other living entities. Isn't it? One of my favorite purports, now literally, you could literally take it, I suppose. When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was traveling later on, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu traveled to Puri and resided in Puri for many years. In fact, if you put the clock back 500 years ago today, where was Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Pardon? What is the year? What year are we in? I lost track of time. 1922? Is that right? I can't remember. Getting old. 2022, not 2022, right?
Yes.
Is that right? Okay. Yes. Okay. So 500 years ago is what? What does that make it? 1522, is that right?
Yeah.
Correct. So where was Lord Chaitanya in 1522? That's a very
Yes.
difficult question, actually. Let's work it out. Oh, yeah, he said, oh, you're right there. Oh. You can't say for sure. Well, let's see. 24 years. So when was he born?
Yeah, 86.
86. Add 24 onto 86. What you get?
15.
Come on, none of you went to school.
36.
Huh? 1510. Huh?
10. Yeah.
1510.
Mm.
And how many years did he travel, more or less?
6.
6. So that comes to 15. Come on.
Oh.
10 plus 6. Maybe we can work that one out.
15, 16.
Anyone got a degree in advanced mathematics or something here?
Yeah, 1522.
10 plus 6. 10 plus 6. What does it come to?
16.
Whoa, well done. 16 rounds a day. Forget you heard it this morning. Right? You read this morning. You were telling us we have to chant 16 rounds a day this morning. Probably. Wasn't you? I heard you say it though. Okay, so 16, 15, 16.
Yeah.
So where was he in 1522?
Back to Puri.
Puri! Jagannath Puri, exactly. Wow, marvelous. How did we get to that? Oh yeah. We got there. Every year the devotees would come to Puri, right? From not every devotee, but hundreds and hundreds of devotees from Bengal would come to Puri. What for? Rath Yatra! Just like hundreds and thousands of devotees go to Paris for the Rath Yatra. You were there this year, Paris Rath Yatra? No. Oh, it was another time. I remember we were in Paris on Harinam. Paris Rath Yatra is a very ecstatic festival, and thousands of devotees come from all over Paris and the rest of France and stuff. Even from Ireland they come. So they come, and one of the devotees who helped to organize, he was a good organizer. What was his name? Shivananda Sain. Now there's one year when there was a famous story, huh? Somebody tagged along with the Sankirtan party, huh? Who was that?
Dog.
A dog. I tagged along. I wasn't elevated to go along with the Sankirtan party. A dog. Yes, a dog tagged along. You see this if you right now, tomorrow in fact, Braj Mandal Parikrama begins tomorrow. Yeah. So, who many times you see on the Braj Mandals in Vrindavan in India, dog tags along, sometimes for the whole parikrama. When I was on the last parikrama, I was on the whole one. There was a dog the whole way. It just wouldn't leave. It wouldn't go in the temple. It just sit outside the temples when we go in and then follow when we run along. All the way it would go, 30 days Padayatra. There was even a goat that was leading us. He came out of the field, and for several days he was just marching in front of the whole parade on the parikrama, the goat. Really proud, one of these big ones, you know. Goat, what do you call them?
Billies.
Billy goat. Leading the party, you know. He'd probably done it many times before. He was just Kedarnath. We went from Kedarnath to Kamyavan and all around there. Amazing things. Not ordinary, huh? So this dog joined the party, and Shivananda Sain accepted him as one of the pilgrims. Normally, dogs are not considered to be very elevated in consciousness. But this dog was accepted just like all the other pilgrims, and Shivananda Sain made special arrangements for the dog. What did he arrange?
Right.
Prasadam. Huh? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Prasadam. Special prasad for the dog. Well, I don't know if it's special, same as everyone else. But he arranged prasadam for the dog, make sure the dog was fed, make sure the dog, even they go over ferries sometimes, and the ferryman would not want to let the dog on, and he would have to pay more money to let the dog on. He would pay the ferryman extra, just so the dog could cross the river. It is Vaishnava. Vaishnava. Service to the Vaishnavas. So one time, what happened?
The dog disappeared.
No, why did he
He was
disappear?
neglected.
He went.
Huh?
He was neglected.
Yeah, how did the neglect take place? What happened?
Shivananda Sain instructed someone to feed him in his absence, and they didn't do it.
Yeah, Shivananda Sain was held back. There was some toll gates, and he was held back to sort the tolls out for all pilgrims. And meanwhile, the party went ahead to their evening destination, and they forgot to feed the dog. So, same thing happens here. If you don't feed you'll run away. Right? No prasadam. How many of you would stay if there was no prasadam? Huh? Would you stay? Would you stay? No prasadam at New Mayapur. Not sure.
Well, I wouldn't stay very long because I'd probably die.
You're not in a position to arrange it. The dog wasn't in a position to arrange it, so you're just helpless, really. You wouldn't be able to stay long, generally speaking. Anyway, the dog left. It just disappeared. Everyone was so absorbed in whatever they were doing, they didn't notice. When Shivananda Sain came after finishing his business, and he saw what was the situation, where's the dog? Where's the dog? Nobody could find the dog. Well, the dog's gone. What's happening? Did you feed the dog? Did you feed him? It's a dog. It's a dog. No. What? You didn't feed the dog? And he had sent people out looking for the dog. They couldn't find him anywhere. Shivananda Sain fasted himself for the offence which he felt he committed to the dog. Alright. And then they proceeded on their way to Puri. After some days they reached Puri. And lo and behold, that's a good old English statement, isn't it? Lo and behold. I think it's from the Bible, isn't it? I think so. What did they see when they reached Puri? Well, they saw Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When they reached Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what did they see?
The dog.
They saw that same dog sat right next to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And what was he doing? Yes, Lord Chaitanya was feeding the dog with
Coconut.
pulp of a coconut. Dogs, by the way, generally like coconut pulp, especially if it's sweet. If you have a nasty dog, there's two ways. You can either have a bottle, one of these squirt bottles that people use sometimes, or you have a bag of sweet coconut pulp. It's a more offered to the deities. Is a much more spiritual way of dealing with them. And I can't guarantee it works. It's like with humans. Not everybody likes gulab jamuns, but usually they work. Calm people down, or calm the devotees down. Here, take a gulab. Prabhupada used to do that sometimes. I'll come in his room and we can see they're completely stressed out. Full of, everything under the sun. They think it's important, And Prabhupada sometimes say, just give them simply wonderful. Just take simply wonderful. All your problems go away. Everyone was astonished to see this dog there, sat next to Lord Chaitanya, and Lord Chaitanya personally feeding the dog. And the next day, that dog was never seen again. It said the dog went back to Godhead. Died. And in the purport, what does Prabhupada say? He says, you become a dog. Is that what he says? Yes, he does actually. It's not quite like that, but yeah, you become the dog of the spiritual master. Faithful servant of the spiritual master. In this way, and just as the mercy, Prabhupada said, of Shivananda Sain, by his mercy this dog was delivered. The dog, in one sense, and of course previous samskaras have been but in terms of his present situation, didn't really have any eligibility as such. But by the grace of Shivananda is saying the dog was delivered. So Prabhupada writes in the purport very astonishing words. You remember what Prabhupada says about devotees, servants in this movement, devotees, whatever. What did he say? I wish that all my disciples become pure devotees, so that by their desire alone, all the living entities on this planet are delivered back to Godhead, even without their knowledge. Wow, yeah. Far out. Even without their knowledge, no eligibility. The only qualification one has, really speaking, is the mercy of the spiritual master. Is that right? Guru Kripa. That's our only real good, you could say, fortune. And if we don't take advantage of that good fortune, then we're, Prabhupada said, we are most unfortunate. Mm-hmm. Most fortunate to get it, most unfortunate not to take advantage of it. Take shelter of the material energy or whatever it may be, or our conditioned minds, our senses, somebody else's influence, etc. Of course, we're referring here to a genuine spiritual master. Not that we take shelter of someone who's labeled a spiritual master, but has no genuine eligibility as such. Somebody who's genuinely connected to the line of disciplinate succession, following in the line of disciplinate succession, not just initiated, but following the previous acharyas. We take shelter in that line, one is considered. We may not be considered on the realized platform, that we may not be, let's say, on that level of the darshan, seeing the truth exactly, but one is following someone who is. So therefore one is considered in the liberated platform. Just like if you're in the right bus, you may not know how on earth to get to Ikea from here. But if you're in the right bus going to Ikea once a day, does it go to Ikea, the bus? One a day? Anyway, any example could be given. Just give me a local one. But you'll get there because the bus is going there. It may take time. So like that, to follow the acharya, to follow the shastras, to follow the system which they've given, is the God-given way of attaining perfection in human life. Now I've gone over time. I'm just demonstrating what it will be like if you have, in the morning you have Damodarastakam, Guru Puja, Kirtan, reading the translations, Bhagavatam class, and no prasadam left. If you stay for all that. Doesn't work. You can't put an hour and a half activity into an hour. We're in a relative word here. There's something to think about. I know what they do in Soho Street. You have Damodarastakam in the morning and in the evening both. How do you adjust the class?
No, class is shorter.
Yeah, which is contrary to the very principle of the month of Kartik. Supposed to be more hearing and chanting of Bhagavad Gita. It's a dilemma. In Vrindavan they only have it in the evening. They don't have it in the morning. Mayapur is the same. Many temples just have it in the evening. We only used to have it in the evening for quite a long time, even in England. Didn't have it because there's too many things and there's things to do. Breakfast has to be served, services have to go on. So anyway, whatever you decide, you're having, I think, a meeting today to discuss it, but there's nothing wrong with having it once a day. They have it once a day in Vrindavan, once a day in Mayapur. And they're kind of like, examples. That is practical. Today is Harinam Sankirtan. Yeah. Jai. Jai!
Jai!
take the Holy Name tour, and books also. I went in the book stock room, we still have 30 Bhagavad Gitas left, by the way. So if anyone wants to empty the stock room before the 12,000 arrive in the middle of the week or the end of the week, whenever they come, you are most welcome to District Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gitas. You're most welcome. And of course other books are available too. But particularly the Gita. What else? I don't know if you're starting Damodar tomorrow or Monday. It could be either day. The calendar is always ambiguous on this one. If you just write there, just simply say, today you begin offering lamps. It's such a simple thing to write, and it will make it easy for the whole world, wouldn't it? And every year the same thing comes up. Do we start tomorrow or the day after? Do we finish on this day or do we finish on the next day? Every year. Just write there. Today we begin offering lamps.
And in the calendar, tomorrow is not the month of Damodar.
The first day of Damodar is Monday.
Is Monday.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is the
Tomorrow,
Purnima,
yeah,
which is the last day
of the previous month.
Padmanabh.
Yeah.
Mas.
Well, that's.
So theoretically, you shouldn't start.
You shouldn't theoretically start
Everywhere
tomorrow.
they do, more or less.
Yeah, a lot of temples do, and some temples don't. It's not the end of the world, by the way, but it would be good to have a clearer understanding. It seems a simple thing that I've actually written many times to the astrology, what's it called, the astrological ministry, or whatever. No answer. Some say this, some say that. Thank you. Anyway, we'll start when they decide. Or whatever is decided. The main thing is this month coming up now is a special month of Kartik. What is it? A month of who? Month of Kartik.
Krishna? No.
That's the month of Damodar and Kartik. Pardon? Yeah. Vrindavaneshwari, Radharani. The month of Kartik is also her month. This is her favorite month. Favorite month. You know what happens in this month?
Yashoda tried to beat his son.
Yasoda tried to beat his son.
Yeah.
Good, that's a good one. You've been working too much out there.
And Nanda Maharaj tried to beat Yashoda.
Yeah, also there are stories of Nanda Maharaj also angry with him. So did they. So did I. But okay, well, it's in the right direction. Yasoda, her son. Let's get that one. That's the easy one. Her son. What did she try to do to her son? Huh? Bind her son. Tie him up with rope. Not ordinary rope.
Thousands of millions of hope.
Ropes of her love. And Krishna agreed, huh? Did he agree? She couldn't bind him. She tried and tried and tried and tried. Was she successful? No. Hundreds of meters of rope. It wasn't just a little bit. Hundreds and hundreds of meters. It's unbelievable. It's impossible to work that one out. Is this little child expanding himself or what? What's going on here? Mystical. She couldn't bind him. She was trying and trying and trying. But there's another side to the story. It wasn't just to punish her child. It's intensifying love in her every movement, every thought in relationship to Krishna. This is perhaps a little contrary to the external perspective, but this is her internal mood. Pure, nothing else but the feeling of love for her son. Trying to bind him up, but really binding him with her love. And eventually Krishna, of course, reciprocating entirely, but allowed the actual binding to take place out of his love for his mother. So Radharani adores this pastime and prays that she may also get the opportunity to bind Krishna in the ropes of her love. It's her favourite pastime. So it's the month of Kritika or Kartika, Radharani. Very special month. So take advantage of it. How can we take advantage? We eat more. That's a good thing to do, isn't it? During Kartika. More prasada.
Yes.
That's devotional service, right? Eat twice as much as normal. Right? It said if you sleep during this month in the holy Dham, you get delivered, so you can do more sleeping here at New Mayapur during this month. It's a good. I'm proposing some good things here, suggesting. Huh? What do you think, Prabhu Swami? Is it a good idea, Prabhu?
Yes.
Yes, thank you, Prabhu. We rehearsed this before the class study. Just like we did with the Rukmi play a few months. Yes. King of Kalinga was saying, when Rukmi said, he cheated, didn't he cheat? Yes. Are you ready, Bruno?
I'm ready for this transcendental elevation.
Transcendental
Eating
elevation.
And eating and sleeping.
Pardon?
Eating and sleeping.
Eating and sleeping, ki jai. Jeev jago. Anyway, whatever. Main thing is try to take advantage by more chanting and hearing. And whatever favors that as much as you can. Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare
Didn't get very far with a purple. Is that 2-page long purple? Quite heavy. Can read it again next week if you want. What's happening?
We're waiting for the start,
The start.
As soon as you say, hey, go, finish.
Questions! Questions!
The time is prasadam.
Question! Any question?
Oh, we understand everything.
Oh, you do now. I know you've heard the truth. Prasadam and sleep. Yes. The solution to all problems. Halava. Solution. We heard about halava yesterday. What was that you were talking about?
Deeply absorbed in prasad.
Yeah, in halava. If everyone, we were told, I don't know if you ever heard that in France, but in England, we were told, I doubt very much whether Prabhupada ever said it, I never seen it in black and white or heard it in voice, but we were told that Prabhupada said that if everyone on the planet were to take halava for breakfast, there will be immediately world peace. Got it? Halava for breakfast. Let's just eat 5 kilos each. There'll definitely be world peace immediately. Magic, isn't it, halava? A magic secret weapon. The H-bomb.
My first question. It was my first prasada.
Halava.
Yes.
That speaks for itself.
Yes.
It speaks for itself. Absolutely, First halava, carrying on from your last lifetime, but indication of a pure devotee. They love halava. We used to just watch the guests, I guess you did too. It was a common thing. When Sunday feast, it was no Sunday, if halava wasn't there, it was not a Sunday feast. But it wasn't just halava cooked up quickly like some kind of like semolina pudding. It was like out of this world. We'd all be sat next to, everyone would sit next to a guest. You know, every devotee would have to be there, sat next to a guest. There was nothing else to do. Everyone had to be there, right? It wasn't like, oh, you were running off, filling your own plate. No, you had to sit next to the guest and talk to the guest. And you just watch. The main thing is you watch and see how much halava they were eating. Or you give it a little time if you really wanted to, to choose. If you had a choice for it. You just let them start and see who's eating the most halava, because you knew they were the best candidates. It was usually a fact also.
Yeah.
Amazing. It's very important. Don't disrespect halava. That's what the verse says, isn't it? That's what it said, isn't it? Don't disrespect halava. Oh, the acharya.
The acharya.
Yeah, oh, the acharya.
Halavacharya.
The hell of a acharya. Anyway, we don't disrespect prasadam. Krishna's mercy. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai.
Jai.
Oda Premanandi.
Haribo. Jai.
Time for eating and sleeping.